Welcome back to Nintendo Land, everybody. Of course, the Super Mario Galaxy movie comes out tomorrow, which means the reviews are out. And I can tell you right now, they're not looking so good. It's kind of mixed at the moment, and right now it's sitting at a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes. And that is just from the critics. We don't have the fan score, but in comparison to the first movie, the first one got a 59% on the tomato meter and a 95% on the popcorn meter, which is from fans. First thing I'll say is do not just blindly listen to critics determining if you should see a movie or not. If you really feel strongly about a movie, give it a shot yourself and form your own review and opinion. But what I'm doing today is what I do with most games, is I take a bunch of reviews that I find online, pile them all together into one video for you, and give you a more accurate idea from both video game fans and just straight up movie fans what the movie is going to be like. I've got 4 video reviews I'll be talking about and throwing in a couple of extra ones that I've seen online at the very end of the video, and the entire time I'll just be playing some gameplay of Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, so that way there's no copyright strikes and stuff from Illumination and Nintendo. You know, they like to strike people, so strictly video game footage for you guys as I talk. But enough yapping. Real quick, I'm actually going to yap a little bit longer. Leave a like and subscribe if I gave you some more information about this movie that helped you decide if you wanted to see it or just made you feel better or worse about it, whatever. I'm here for you. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Like I said, we are super close to 400K. Let's see how many people from this video alone we can get to subscribe. But you're going to want to make sure you're here regardless, because we're going to be talking about all the Easter eggs and everything that you missed in probably tomorrow's video. In fact, the next week is going to be packed with Mario movie stuff, so you're going to want to make sure you keep it here on Nintendo Land. But let's dive into the reviews. So our first review that we're going to be talking about comes from IGN, and this is what they had to say about the movie. It is packed wall to wall with Easter eggs. There are so many Easter eggs, and you're going to hear this a lot as we go throughout the rest of these reviews. Some areas are just made for a blink and you miss it cameo, and for no other reason. Some of them don't even tie into any story plots. They're literally like a second long. You'll see something and say, oh, I know that location, or oh, I know that character, but they don't really have much of a story or reason to be here, just besides, hey, look at that, jiggle some keys in front of the fan's face. It's just an okay movie that IGN claims. The first movie had more of a story than this one did. The plot here could have been a great story for each character, as they all had their own motives and missions and goals in this movie, but it just didn't stick for any of them because the movie was just so crowded. There were so many plot points trying to be smushed together into one, it felt like they were doing too much instead of focusing on one tightly knitted plot point, but instead they're going off on all types of tangents apparently. There's small amounts of Yoshi and Rosalina, and we'll talk about these deeper in a minute, but some scenes felt straight pulled from other movies that have done these scenes better in the first place, which is strange. I'm not quite sure what they mean by that and what movies have they tried to replicate, but I guess we'll see when the movie comes out. And they finish off by saying the action scenes are really, really good. Mario can really throw hands in this movie, and it's actually shocking how well he can fight compared to how lackluster he was fighting in the first movie. It seems like he really learned some skills with his time in the Mushroom Kingdom over the last 3 years since the last movie. But IGN finishes it off by saying it's the same pitfalls of a lot of sequels nowadays. It goes bigger, but a lot more than just a Galaxy movie. It tries to be other things and tries to be a lot more expansive, throwing in tons of Easter eggs instead of really focusing on its plot. If it wasn't for the Easter eggs and charm, it would have been a very forgettable film, and IGN gives the movie a 6 out of 10. Now next I wanted to grab a review from somebody that is big on Nintendo, someone that plays the games and knows all about Nintendo games and Mario games, so I went with GameXplain's review, and I feel like they touched on a lot here, and Andre gave a lot of details about what he's seen, what he liked, and really what he didn't like, because he wasn't that big of a fan of this movie after really loving the first one. He states, the movie moves at hyper speed this time around, with a thin and unclear storyline. He was let down coming out of the theater compared to the first one, where he was super hyped coming out of the theater. He said it was too wrapped up in Easter eggs, too much, and this is coming from a big Mario fan. He says Fox has a major role and sometimes turns into a Star Fox film, believe it or not. He claims that he wishes Fox wasn't even there because it pulls the movie away from what it's supposed to be about, Mario Galaxy, and it's feeling like at times it's just too much Star Fox, which means Star Fox fans, we're going to be in for a treat. But he says Fox was handled super well and was one of the best characters in the movie. He goes on to say it felt less like a movie and more like a bunch of cutscenes slapped together. There's no licensed music really at all in this film, all remixes, which I think is a really good thing. I don't need any of those licensed music to play. Like, I just want remixes of Nintendo music so I can listen to my Mario music as I'm watching a Mario movie. That's all we need. It feels like everything else besides Galaxy. He claims that it's even more heavy on things like Odyssey and Mario World than it is on Galaxy, which is something that I feared in the very beginning, and people told me that I was crazy. Look at this last trailer, there's tons of Galaxy stuff, but from what I'm hearing from him and a lot of people, it feels not much like Galaxy here. The ending and wrap-up is super quick, and it doesn't really have a good payoff, which is kind of hard to hear. The Easter eggs are so wild and crazy, and just in your face for no reason. He states that there's way more Easter eggs than the first one, and almost like an ad at some points, there's so many of them. I personally really just am going to love that. I mean, look, I am 28 years old watching a movie made for children. You know, at the end of the day, I'm really just here for Easter eggs and for a fun little goofy little Mario movie. You know what I mean? I don't need a big story, so hearing about how big the Easter eggs are here, I'm gonna be like a little kid kicking my feet like, oh, look at that. I don't care. Like, that's what I'm here for. Apparently, it's beautiful looking and really funny, and there's no Bowser song or really any musical segments this time around, which, as good as the Bowser song is in the first movie, I'm glad there's no more musical segments. I don't need any of those, honestly. But Rosalina is barely here. All the characters' backstories, in fact, are pretty weak, including Rosalina's. And some of them will even leave you questioning, wanting more information about their backstories than we've already known. Fox has more of a role than Rosalina in this movie. Yeah, so it seems like Rosalina really is just going to immediately get kidnapped. You're not going to see her until like the very end. That's kind of disappointing. Once again, it's a Mario Galaxy movie and you're barely seeing one of the main characters being Rosalina. But they end off by saying without Fox, it would have felt like a more lackluster experience. At the end of the day, GameXplain says the movie felt like a fever dream. It was super fast-paced, no story, and lackluster ending with little scenes with the new characters like Yoshi and Rosalina. It's fun, it's a good time, not quite as good as the first one though. Now these next two reviews come from big movie reviewers on YouTube. These are reviewers that I've seen videos from them on TikTok, YouTube over the years. They normally have some really good, really accurate movie reviews, so I wanted to hear what they had to say. As maybe not as big fans of Mario or gaming, they have claimed they've played Mario games and they do game at times, but these are more strict movie reviewers, and this is what they had to say. Starting off with Jeremy Jahns on YouTube. A lot of you guys probably watch his reviews, but he states a montage of Nintendo nostalgia bait. That's what you're going to get with this hour and 30 minutes. The animation looks great, and believe it or not, actually has really good cinematography. The music score was really well done. He even joked and said that the composer for the film is like the best character outside of Star Fox, because he says that Star Fox is just, yeah, he's just awesome. He said he even got a little teary-eyed because of how magical the scenes with Star Fox was. So yeah, once again, you're getting a lot of Star Fox. Same issues as the first movie, but this movie has an overcomplicated plot instead of a light plot like the first movie did, which he thinks is worse because it suffers from what most sequels suffer from, just overcomplication of a plot where it doesn't focus on a single narrative. This felt more like a Mario Galaxy coloring book, he said, which I thought was pretty funny. Take with that what you will. Easter eggs and cameos were great. Tons of big ones and even small ones sprinkled in. Although the bigger ones felt like they were wasted at times, so it seems like there were some bigger character cameos that felt like wasted potential. Like, I would be very upset if they just decided to give us a cameo of Wario and Waluigi for a couple seconds and didn't elaborate on that. That would probably make me be like, wait, what? But I don't know, I guess that's what a third movie is for. The movie feels fun for kids, but not so much for parents, and he thinks that most parents are going to be extremely bored and you should probably just fall asleep or drop them off at the movie theater. The 90-minute movie could have been more like 40 minutes shorter, is what he claims, and overall says he thought it was a bummer. Kids will love, parents will not like. It's just a cluster of Easter eggs and cameos. And the last review I have for you today is from 3C Films. He stated that the movie is a visual feast for fans. It has great voice acting and really good fight scenes. He specifically said there's a fight scene at the very beginning, which is a 3v1 we've already seen in the trailers with Luigi, Mario, and Yoshi versus Bowser Jr. And he said this was so good. There was so many little fast-paced action sequences that he thought was so well incorporated, and this is just one of multiple really good fight scenes in this movie. He states that the third act is really wild. There's a lot of stuff that they are still hiding. Do not worry. So if you're worried that Star Fox spoiled like a major character, he is a major character, but there's a lot of other stuff that they did not spoil and they saved specifically too for that third act. There is just too much going on, he says. Pacing is so crazily fast, the plot feels unfocused. He says it feels only Galaxy in name at times, no Rosalina's backstory really at all, and he claims that the actual video game itself has deeper and more accurate lore than this movie does. So yeah, that's pretty strange that the movie actually doesn't have any Rosalina backstory. That's one of the best parts story-wise of the game, is reading the storybook and learning about how, you know, Rosalina met the Lumas, where she came from. So it kind of sucks. I was really hoping they'd almost like start the movie off with like a Rosalina backstory, showing her grow up and, you know, just kind of retell the storybook for the first 5 to 10 minutes would have been really neat. So this is kind of a bummer. Like, why are we not retelling major events from a game called Mario Galaxy in your movies called Mario Galaxy? I don't know. But he says Star Fox is about to blow up with fans, new and old, and he feels like it was kind of forced in here. Like, once again, Fox maybe shouldn't have been here because he almost takes over the movie. It doesn't feel organic, but yeah, it seems like Star Fox is really about to take off, and if the rumors are to be believed by Nate the Hate, that Star Fox game is really going to blow up thanks to this movie as well. And it just makes me think like that's clearly the reason he's here. This movie is really just to advertise games, people. You got to remember that at the end of the day. Bowser has a weird personality shift halfway through the movie, which was very weird for him. I don't know what this means. I don't know if he just starts off maybe like as a really nice character, starts to get like mean, or maybe vice versa, or something weird happens with his character. We're gonna have to wait for the movie to come out to see that. He states that the post-credit scenes, there are 2 of them, are good directions, so I guess leading to something else in the future. From what I've heard, there's one scene that's focused on the future of the Mario films, and another scene that's focused on maybe something else outside of Mario. So I'm thinking maybe Star Fox, maybe Luigi's Mansion, something else that I'm missing entirely. Who knows? But he finishes it off with a different type of rating. He instead rates it on different things, different categories that he has for his channel. Action was a 4 out of 5, comedy was a 3 out of 5, drama 2.5 out of 5, and suspense 2 out of 5. And 3C Films stated that you have to be a big fan to appreciate this movie the most, or a child. And he says it's worth watching though at the end of the day. And here's a couple of other reviews that I've found online. Here are 2 reviewers for discussing a film. You definitely probably seen them on Twitter if you've been on Twitter at all. One, Tyler Tang, says it's a mixed bag. There are aspects that I found stronger than the first, which I loved, but the promise of adapting Galaxy feels like an afterthought, and it's shockingly low on vibes. The game has a stronger story, ? We then have Andrew Salazar from Discussing Film says there is nothing for me to literally say. The final Discussing Film review says the Super Mario Galaxy movie fails to live up to the cinematic scale and epic visuals of the original Super Mario Galaxy game. 2 out of 5 stars. Next up, we have a review from Global Box Office that states the Super Mario Galaxy movie is a stunningly animated film that Nintendo and Mario fans will surely adore. Packed with non-stop action and light on dialogue, it keeps viewers on the edge of their seat from start to finish. The story begins with the mysterious kidnapping of Rosalina. Later, we learn it's part of Bowser Jr.'s plan to free his father. Princess Peach sets out to rescue her, leaving Mario and Luigi in charge of protecting the Mushroom Kingdom. While the film focuses heavily on action, the screenplay and plot aren't particularly deep or original. That said, it's still an incredibly fun time at the theater. Even if you're not a Mario fan, you can enjoy the colorful characters, breathtaking animation, and great score that makes this an entertaining experience for anyone open to its playful spirit. 4 out of 5 stars. Christopher Gallardo states the Super Mario Galaxy movie is whimsical, vibrant, and fun in every way. The cast is pretty great, but Jack Black's Bowser and Donald Glover's Yoshi are absolutely hilarious. The visuals really burst out, the story is sweet, and those references truly shine. Tom Chattelbash states the Super Mario Galaxy movie is surprisingly a lot better than its predecessor, introducing exciting and revered characters with flair while delivering colorful, vibrant, and far more visually striking visuals and action set pieces that give this sequel a distinct, lively feel. Nate Richards states, if you like the first movie, you'll like Super Mario Galaxy movie. It's silly, chaotic, and the inner child in me had a lot of fun. That said, I could have used more Yoshi and Rosalina. The Hollywood Handle states the Super Mario Galaxy movie movie was made for YouTube Shorts viewers. The constant need to add an action sequence every time the story with lots of potential begins to develop makes it feel like just another soulless animated film. And then Dexerto on Twitter states the Super Mario Galaxy movie leans into what makes Mario fun rather than trying to be something it's not. 4 out of 5 stars. So there you have it. Those are tons of reviews for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and those should give you a better idea as to what to expect from this film. My takeaway from all this is that myself and probably everybody watching this video right now, you guys are gonna love this movie. We're all gonna enjoy this because we're Nintendo fans. We're huge Mario fans, and I am a massive Mario fan. So I'm probably gonna pick up on every little and big Easter egg that they show and just smile the entire time. But at the same time, I can see why some people will be frustrated that A, it has another lacking story, B, it doesn't feel quite like a Galaxy movie, they're focusing on other games as well, and Galaxy seems like an afterthought, and C, Rosalina and Yoshi are barely in this film. I know Rosalina fans specifically are going to be very upset by this. I can only imagine how the reaction is going to be after this movie comes out and people, didn't get as much Rosalina as they were hoping, which is supposed to be the main character of this Mario Galaxy movie. Well, if you think about it, Rosalina kind of took a backseat as Mario did all the adventuring and stuff in Galaxy 1 and really wasn't in Galaxy 2 outside of a cosmic clone. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of makes sense, but yeah, I wish there was more story, and I wish Rosalina and Yoshi would have made this more of a Mario Galaxy movie more than just a Mario movie with Star Fox in here as well. But as a Star Fox fan myself, I love that he is just such a huge role in this. I think personally I'm going to really enjoy this. But let me know if you are worried about this movie, if these reviews made you a lot more worried, or maybe they made you a little bit more anticipated of this movie, a little bit more excited about this movie. Let me know down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Super Mario Galaxy movie, video games, and just all things Nintendo in general. And I hope you all have a blessed day. See you guys.